Real quick before we get started, we have something really cool we want to tell you about.
Voidmonster.org is a website started by MTG artist Forrest Immel that drops new TCG-inspired accessories and apparel every single month.
This month's drop is a pair of playmats called Friendship and Courage.
So that means that there's 2 awesome pieces of art by Forrest Immel himself this time.
Pre-orders only have a week-long period and are going on until August 3rd at 12 p.m. Pacific time.
So use our link in the description to check out voidmonster.org to get the Friendship and Courage playmats before it's too late.
Now let's get into the podcast.
Dude,
Good?
flawless immediately.
Perfect. So what happens if no one's saying anything? I want to say the real feel is like, I think it said 275 degrees outside.
That's what the real
The
feel
real feel
was?
is 275 degrees, yeah.
Let's do this.
This podcast is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Use code PLAY2WIN5 with your link down below for 5% off to help support the show. Gotta wind it up.
Wind it up. Welcome to the Play to Win podcast. I'm going to stop off something back here.
It's winding. I'm winding. I'm not.
Yeah, I promise. Welcome to the Play to Win podcast, where we talk about winning in cEDH. I'm Cam.
And I'm Dylan. This week we are talking about multicolored cards in the 99 of cEDH decks. We're not talking about commanders. We might reference them. We're not talking about single colored cards. We might reference them. We're talking about multicolored cards in cEDH. We might reference them. There's not a ton, but there's a couple.
It was relatively harder to find cards to add to this list than the other ones, because the other ones is just, well, you look at a list of cEDH cards, boom, there you go.
You get like 1 or 2, maybe 3 in a deck, depending, and they have to be like, they're pretty specific because the requirements is tricky. It doesn't feel like it should be, but it is.
Every card that's multicolor is worse than every card that's single color because of the nature of how multicolor works.
Right.
Unless you're a hybrid multicolor card, you need 2 pips at least to be considered a multicolor card, which means that already we're in a mana value zone that's like at the upper echelons of where cEDH actually wants to be.
Other formats, sometimes being multicolored can actually be a benefit because you can have pitch spells, you can have like Force of Negation and Endurance in your deck. So having a blue-green card is actually a little bit relevant because you can pitch to either. The balance between the amount of those that you get in 60 card versus the amount that you get in Singleton 100 card is much, much, much different.
I don't need to build my whole deck around making sure that I have a blue card because if I'm in blue-green, I have a blue card, especially if there's like a card advantage engine in play on my board.
How do you want to do about this? Are we going by creature type? Are we going by artist? How are we?
A bunch of names on a document in Google.
Oh, perfect.
That's what it looks like.
I'm triple checking all the cameras 100 times.
We should.
The fact that we fucked it up twice in the last month means I have to triple check.
You can feel super safe 98% of the time. Oh, I'm not recording. This one was you. This one was you. We could play. Am I not recording?
You're not recording.
I'm glad that we're starting the triple check after we've started the podcast too.
5 minutes in, time to check.
Time to do the check. Yeah, are you going?
What's the first card we're talking about today?
Let's start at the bottom of my list, which means that we're starting with Eladamri's Call. I figured this would be like a good middle of the road place to start because it's a great card, right? It's a tutor that finds any creature in your deck, right? It's at the rate of Demonic Tutor, right? The same mana value as Demonic Tutor. And in the decks that play it, you pretty much are only wanting creatures to combo with. So you kind of don't care about that downside. And it's an instant, which actually makes it a little bit better than Demonic Tutor in that way. But it shares this capacity with, you know, what we're saying with these cards, where it is 2 pips, so it has a very specific cost that you have to pay. And it does have a downside of only being able to get you creatures. So not every deck is going to want an Eladamri's Call effect.
It is kind of funny. Eladamri's Call doesn't see a ton of play, but other creature tutors like the X spells, which end up costing more mana, do see a ton of spells, mainly because those spells put the thing right into play, so they don't give your opponents another opportunity to respond to the thing, because once the spell resolves, the creature is in play, and that like unknowing is like so powerful in Commander and with tutors and whatnot. It's interesting that like green-white is just like kind of hard to cast. I don't want to say it's hard to cast, but like it's not as efficient as like green-green XXX. I would much rather do that because making a bunch of mana with Guy's Cradle is easier than 2 specific pips, and that surprise pack factor is huge.
I think what you're talking about with the surprise factor is probably one of the bigger parts. Like, because it's a creature, you have to reveal what you're getting. It's not like Demonic Tutor where it's any card in your deck, so you can just put it in your hand and then save it for later. No one, like, everyone thinks you tutored for Mystic Remora. That was just in your hand, and for some reason you didn't play it first. You can't do stuff with that with Eladamri's Call. Like, you'll end up tutoring for Grand Abolisher, and now everyone's really afraid of you. And now you have to also cast Grand Abolisher. So like you were saying with these other creature tutors, you have to feed Rhystic Study twice if you end up casting Eladamri's Call.
Yeah, and you get to be a little bit sneakier with the X spells. I've done before where I'll cast it X equals 4, knowing that I want a 2-drop, trying to throw people off the scent. What's he getting for 4 mana? What could be 4? Grand Abolisher's less than 4, so that's in in and you can't respond anymore. Eladamri's Call, like you said, there's no window for that. They can force the will of the Grand Abolisher. And the instant speed nature, I feel like in the decks that want a creature tutor, the instant speed part of it isn't as relevant because why didn't you just do it on your turn and cast it right away? Since you're not getting interaction with it, the instant speed aspect of it is a little bit less. And yes, you could get Solitude or Endurance. There's a couple of options, but realistically, more often than not, I feel like the instant speed nature doesn't come up quite as much because you should just do it on your turn anyway.
I think that's a really good point. Like the only upside I could think of is if you have Eladamri's Call and Archivist of Ogma in your hand, and then you can choose which one of these two flash creatures you can play.
Right.
How often you can have these two like flash things that you could do? I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Like why wait to do something when you're just gonna give your opponents another turn to like draw more answers to whatever you're gonna do?
A little bit of a downside is like green-white is kind of, I don't want to say it's a bad color pairing, but like really, it's kind of is. And like the decks that are like low color green-white, like Brigid loves Eladamri's Call. I got to assume they play this card. Even some Naya decks like Rocco probably enjoy an Eladamri's Call. But once you're in like 4 and 5 color with green and white, you have access to so many other tutors that get you that surprise factor or can get you anything you want, like Demonic Tutor or something like that.
One of your colors is probably black at that point.
So I think it's great in low color decks, green-white decks and Naya decks in particular, decks that don't have access to black tutors and stuff like that. But outside of that, I'm never really including it in 4 and 5 color decks anymore, which is interesting because like a couple years ago, I would have loved this in Thrasios Tymna. This was a great include in Thrasios Tymna, but nowadays not so much.
Its home is really in the tier 2 decks like Rocco that like aren't really seeing a ton of top tier tournament play, but are still good if you're like trying to find creature combos. Those are very specific niche homes that will probably keep Eladamri's Call towards the bottom of our list.
I was going to say the green-white thing you can pitch to Solitude and Endurance. We kind of talked about it already, and that's not really a real thing.
If you're playing both of those cards, that's a rough spot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about Derevi, Imperial Tactician, right? So we can kind of get a good side of a good multicolor card.
Are we rating these cards?
The rest of the series, we haven't given numbers to the rest of the cards. Sure? Yeah, I'm positive.
We don't rate any of them.
Talked about it at the beginning of the blue episode and then didn't commit for the rest of the episode. And then the next day we recorded the white podcast, and I don't think we gave numbers to any of them either.
Do we rate them against each other, or we just like
we're rating them against each other? That's how we're rating them. They don't need a number when we just know that Derevi is better than Eladamri's Call.
Which is interesting because Derevi, do we say what it does? Is banned creature that when it comes in, taps or untaps a target permanent, or when a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, do the same thing?
See, I'm more okay reading these because a lot of these, I don't remember what all they do, whereas like on the other list, I remembered what all those cards do.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of not knowing what my cards do, yesterday I took the Flare of Cultivation out of my, what's his face deck, out of the Tanuk deck.
It's just to cultivate. Those lands don't go right into play?
Especially because when we were playing a casual game off camera later, I looked at it in my hand and went, oh, this puts 2 lands into play.
Yeah.
I didn't cast it because then I corrected myself and I went, no, it doesn't. I'm like, every time I play this card, I'm going to think that it does this and it does not do that.
Yeah,
so it's just out of the deck.
It's curious because it's a cultivate effect, right? But it says sacrifice. And a lot of times the 3 mana get 2 lands that have the word sacrifice on them. They sacrifice a land and then those 2 things go into play. But this gives you the option to sacrifice a creature to cast it for free.
Which is a completely different thing than paying 3 mana to sacrifice a land and get 2 lands.
But your mind says like 2 land sacrifice. I've seen this effect before. This is Harrow.
Times.
Yeah, whatever, right? That Harrow's the name of that card?
Harrow is Harrow. Yeah.
Like that's good. That's not what that one does. But that's from a casual episode we played recently where...
So embarrassing.
Derevi, interesting because power level wise, the ceiling, way higher than Eladamri's Call. But interestingly, I think Derevi only goes in realistically 2 decks. So it goes in Sisay for sure. It's like one of the best cards in Sisay. I feel like I want to tutor for all the times. And every time I'm playing Sisay and I can't figure out a way to win, later on I go, oh, why didn't I just tutor for Sisay and attack with 3 creatures and get a bunch of untaps? That would have been so good, right? Derevi is incredible in Sisay, not only as a combo piece, but it does everything the deck wants to do. Derevi is also good in Yoshimaru Thrasios, I would say
you could play it in any non-red Thrasios deck, realistically.
I don't know that it's... when do you? I would say the decks that do play it is Yoshimaru Thrasios. Like Tymna Thrasios could play it, but do they?
I guess that's where I've seen it. Like I've seen it in some of those lists. I don't know that it's the best version of Tymna Thrasios, but I have seen more like Gaia's Cradle heavy versions of the deck. Yoshimaru's presence with Derevi and like leaning more in on the, well, I don't play black cards, so I'm never going to Demonic Consultation and Thassa's Oracle win.
Right, yeah.
I think that is the more appropriate home for Derevi. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and specifically, like, I guess Thrasios is kind of a good home because of Emil and Derevi and Gaia's Cradle being like a 3-card combo, and the 3-card is a little bit loose-ish because like Gaia's Cradle is a land that you like want to get out anyway, and it's always good. You can make infinite mana there as long as the Gaia's Cradle taps for 4 or more mana, right? That's what it is?
Yeah, because every time that Derevi enters, you get to untap the Cradle and use 3 of the 4 mana that you make on the Emil activation.
Right.
And then eventually, once you make infinite green, you can make infinite of all your other colors by blinking the rest of your land.
You could also play Derevi in Najeela, which is funny to say, like, also there's Najeela because 5 years ago, Najeela was queen queen, and now Najeela is like lonely little Najeela over
she's
there.
She's a queen, but her kingdom is just like not as important anymore.
Yeah, he does combo with Najeela. Najeela just doesn't see a ton of play anymore. Probably combos with some other stuff, but I feel like the Emil, Gaia's Cradle, Derevi combo, those are the main ones.
Those are the combos. Those are the homes.
Probably something else that you can do that I'm not thinking off right. You know what I mean? But well, yeah,
let me know in the comments.
Right, yeah. I would say though, Derevi actually does, now that I say that out loud, Derevi does see play in more decks than Eladamri's Call. It sounds
like it's seen a lot more play and in better decks too. Yeah, because like we were saying, Eladamri's Call is like in only tier 2 decks for the most part. Like maybe a tier 1 deck will play it because like Thrasios Tymna and Yoshimaru Thras could play Eladamri's Call. Yeah, actually Yoshimaru Thras, they probably play more Eladamri's Call than anyone else. But
probably,
but it's also like the worst of the Thrasios decks. Yeah, because
even then, like they're a Gaia's Cradle deck, so they have no problem with the green X spells, right? They can cast those easily, and they want that surprise factor much more.
And they're also playing Derevi anyway.
And they're also playing Derevi anyway. Yeah, I say Derevi's definitely better than Eladamri's Call.
I'm 100% agreeing with that.
And Derevi also has like the option to go in other decks down the line. Like as long as Gaia's Cradle is an option, it's always going to be like consider, oh, I'm playing Gaia's Cradle and I'm in band colors. I should consider Derevi. That would probably be pretty good, right?
I mean, it's also something that you can put in your command zone too, because it does cheat on the commander tax. Yeah. So there's stupid combos with like the One Ring where if you have a way to like sacrifice Derevi and put it back into play, and you can like untap the One Ring and a bunch of other stuff that you have.
There's like a weird combo with like Preston and Birthing Pod kind of, I think, where you can like sacrifice with Birthing Pod and the Preston will trigger to get you a Derevi thing to come back. There's some Preston shit you can do.
Because you get to untap the Birthing Pod with the Preston Derevi, and then you get to sacrifice it with...
Go get something else with the... Yeah. You know what I mean? I forget exactly what it is, but there's a Preston line in Derevi nowadays that I've lost to it before, and it's pretty sick if it gets all its shit going, but Derevi as a commander doesn't see as much play because Yoshimaru Thrasios just like fits what cEDH is built for nowadays because of Fierce Guardianship and shit like that.
All Derevi is in the command zone is a combo piece. Like it doesn't...
No innate advantage.
Technically it's mana, but like you're not like fixing your mana really. Like you're spending Bant to untap Gaia's Cradle, and now like you still you're down a blue and white pip now.
Right, yeah. The One Ring definitely made that deck much more playable though, giving access to like, oh, now every time the One Ring hits play, you can probably draw like 10 cards pretty quickly, right?
Speaking of Najeela, this also used to be an old cEDH stacks deck where you could do Winter Orb stuff and stuff with Stasis, and people would like let themselves
Derevi used to be a stacks deck, yeah.
And then like no one else can untap, but like I'm gonna win through my Stasis.
That's terrible. Don't do that.
Absolutely shit fucked. But
Derevi's better than Eladamri's Call. Let's move on.
Let's talk about Deadpool trading cards next.
Oh, I love this card.
This card fucking slaps.
Yeah, this card fucks for sure. I love Deadpool as a character. I don't know if you can see the is this in the shot? I feel like my Deadpool comic is in the shot. The New Mutants. Probably, can you see that?
It better be, because the fucking silver plaque is right below it, so it better fucking be there.
Big fan of Deadpool. I don't know. Can you see my tattoo? Let me show off how much I used to love Deadpool. Deadpool's cool as a character, and then as a card in the 99, I think it's great in specifically Sisei, where a lot of these multicolor cards are going to be really good in Sisei.
I have another one to add for you. Actually, I will say you need to remind me to talk more about Sisei, because there's some Sisei cards I didn't include on here because I didn't know how in depth on some weird Sisei cards we wanted to get.
Specific. Deadpool can go in other decks.
But I didn't put Teferi on here, and I need to get Teferi on here. But Deadpool's also really good in Tymna Dargo, too.
Oh, sure.
Because it goes with the loop with Ruthless Technomancer, so you can make infinite mana. Don't ask me how.
I don't know exactly how it works, but eventually you can get to a point where you make infinite mana, and you can sacrifice Deadpool to have your opponents draw out, and you can do it infinite times, and if they respond, you can do it again or something, because you make a copy of it.
Yeah, because through your loop, like, you keep sacrificing your Ruthless Technomancer to the Deadpool that entered and took Ruthless Technomancer's box, so that way, like, you always have a Ruthless Technomancer in play. You're always looping your Ruthless Technomancer and Deadpool in and out of the graveyard, and eventually, once you have the infinite mana, you just start replacing the text box with your opponent's things, and then you can, put all the mana into Deadpool's ability, which says everyone else draws a card, and then you lose 2 life.
Yeah, is that what it does? I
don't fucking know. What does it do?
At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control it, you lose 3 life, and then it just also says each of your opponents draws a card.
Oh, sacrifice this creature, each of your opponents draw a card. So then you just draw them out. You draw them out.
And if they respond to anything, since it's an ability, you can activate Ruthless Technomancer to bring Deadpool back in response to their action, make them draw again. If they respond again, you do the same thing over and over again because you've already achieved infinite mana by the time you're doing that.
So it sounds like we know how the combo works.
We know how it works,
but if you told me to pilot the deck and get to this point, I would not be able to do that.
I gotta get the primer. Hold on, let me read the rules.
Hold up.
I made a short about this a while ago, and it's like an Anala level primer of like how how many steps that you have to do in order to get this point. I had it in front of me as I was talking. Like I knew what the fuck I was talking about.
Oh, that's so gross. Wow.
Yeah, it's
decks that are harder to play than Aang.
I also think that Deadpool is just like good in low color black-red decks. If you're just like playing black-red and you're like in 2-color, it's an awesome include there. I don't know how many decks that would be really good in, but the fact that it's like a 4-mana Gilded Drake is like really nice a lot of the times.
It is a nice tool to have, I would say for sure. Like if you're playing Shadow the Hedgehog or something like that.
And in Sisei, it's like uniquely perfect because Derevi untaps a thing and then you go find Deadpool and Deadpool gives you the other 2 colors that Derevi would need and it becomes a switch text box of Derevi, giving you another untap and then you can just like win from there because you have at least all 5 colors in play at that point. So it's like a great finishing combo piece with Sisei and allowed you to go for your instant speed wins really easily. Big fan of it in Sisei. And then Tim Nadargo's the big one.
So glad that Deadpool actually gets to see cEDH play.
So funny.
Is it better than Derevi?
Part of why it's good is because of Derevi.
Less homes outside of Sisei than Derevi does.
I would say as far as like good cEDH decks, it has realistically 2 homes, Tim Nadargo and Sisei. But then every other black-red deck considers it. Rakdos or Obnixilis, they probably like, yeah, they would enjoy that. Not as good or a combo piece, but I think still fine enough to be like in the consideration for those decks, right?
Like a tech piece in those decks? Yeah. Probably Obnixilis a little bit more.
I think so. It's at least in their considering pile. I don't know.
I would think so, yeah. There's so many fucking pingers in the world that like, especially like that deck in Rakdos, I feel like can be so built around their commander and like, but you also have like a bunch of flex slots that I feel like Deadpool could slot into.
I think Derevi's probably better. It's been around longer and we know more definitive combos with it. The combos with it are easier. I would say Derevi's a little bit better, but personally, I like Deadpool a little bit more.
I like Deadpool more, but I think I agree that Derevi's probably going to be higher on this list. And my tiebreaker is probably going to be because it's a better commander than Deadpool is too.
I would also say like Derevi works with Gaia's Cradle, the best green card that we have decided in the format. It works well with one of the best things, whereas like Deadpool specifically only work like Tim Nadargo realistically is like, I don't want to say it's a tier 2 deck because I get my ass whooped by that deck all the time, but I don't think it's a tier 1 deck.
I feel like it's a tier 1.5 deck where like it's very close. It probably depends on how big of a net you think tier 1 is. My tier 1 net is like 5 or 6 decks realistically. How much do I want to be conceited and put Atali in tier 1? It's really like how many decks do I put in tier 1?
Derevi's also a blue card. You can pitch it a Force of Will, Misdirection, and Commandeer and shit like that.
I know we said that wasn't like high up on our list of stuff, but that's an upside. I'm not pitching this to Contagion
or Force of Despair.
Pyrokinesis. I might do that in the right deck actually. Wait a minute, I take that back.
Sometimes I truly think Force of Despair is like really not that bad, but that's for a different day.
Let's talk about the 3-mana Teferi while I have it on my mind and I don't forget.
3 fairy, a blue, a white, and a generic for a Planeswalker that says, let me see if I can figure out everything it says.
This is the Time Raveler.
Its static ability says your opponents can only cast spells at times where they could cast a sorcery. Not worded like that, but that's what it do.
Are you talking about the arena only version or?
Nope, I'm talking about the cEDH paper version.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about the arena only version that's errated.
Nope. Okay. The +1 ability, I think it comes in with 4 and it has a +1 ability. The +1 is you can cast sorceries as though they had flash. And then the -3, bounce a creature, enchantment, or artifact, draw a card.
The only thing that you didn't get right is that you can only cast... Oh, no. Yeah, it's until your next turn. You can cast sorcery spells. I thought it was your next sorcery.
No, you can cast sorcery spells as though they had flash until your next turn.
That line's kind of dumb.
There's just 2 abilities, right?
There's just 2...
And the static ability.
And the static. So three abilities.
The static is a big one.
It's the big one. Yeah, we have a multicolor...
That's just how
Grand Abolisher.
I was going to say that sentence ends like that. Are you sure?
It's like, and in a song on the 5 chord.
Teferi's big pull, I would say, it is a Grand Abolisher effect. Your opponents can cast spells on your turn, is the most important part. Also, specifically, they can only cast spells when they could cast sorceries. With Sisei is particularly neat because on somebody else's turn, I can search for Teferi and then search for more stuff to win the game, and I am protected on their turn, not on my turn.
Activated abilities are not spells.
Right. All of the other Grand Abolisher, Voice of Victory, Jennifer Walters, they all say on your turn, no one can interact with you. Teferi says your opponents can only cast spells as though they were at sorcery speed, period.
Wax on.
Waxing on. Jerking off.
You also said Teferi's big pull too, and that made me laugh.
Other things about Teferi, it combos with Displacer Kitten and Soul Ring.
Oh my god, I forgot about that too. Yeah,
and mana
basically
vaults.
Like any mana rock,
and doesn't have a cost.
Yeah, so no Chrome Mox, no Mox Diamond. But if you can just replay it, like even a Mox Amber, because Teferi is a legendary planeswalker that lets you tap it for blue or white. So you can tap it for blue or white. That will trigger the Displacer Kitten to blink the Teferi, and then you can -3 Teferi to return the Mox to your hand, draw a card, and then redo that until you have as many cards as you want.
Chrome Mox actually would also kind of work because you get to draw draw your deck. You don't actually make mana, but you can still cast Chromox and it can enter play and you don't have to imprint anything. It can just be a 0 mana thing. And then after you draw a whole bunch of cards, eventually you cast the Mox Opal.
I don't need this one. All right, I'll put this one under here,
switch
make a blue
it,
real
do
quick.
A different one or something like that, right? I don't see that line
ever anymore.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure why.
I put it in the King T'Challa deck that we played for the channel.
You need something to win.
I think because I just needed something for King T'Challa to do. Yeah. Whereas I think there's so many other things for decks to do where, like, make a definitive amount of mana. Yeah. I'd rather make a, like, draw as many cards as I want instead of, like, being limited to, like, how many times I can do this specific loop.
Displacer Kitten, although the card is super powerful, it realistically doesn't go in a ton of decks because you sort of need your commander to have a good enters trigger in order for Displacer Kitten to truly be worth it, because it can't just be a combo piece. A 4-mana creature combo piece, not that great. It has to do other shit, I feel like.
And I feel like a lot of the decks that do play it are like Kefka, which obviously now can't play Teferi.
Right. But if you are in blue-white colors and you are looking for an extra win con and Displacer Kitten works with your commander, then this Teferi, Displacer Kitten, Soul Ring combo, I think is actually really good.
Because it basically is a 2-card combo.
Yeah, and it's protected in its own right. It has a built-in silence in the combo.
There's no point for them to be able to interact with you because even when Teferi leaves the battlefield, it comes back into play right away. There's no opportunity for priority to go around before Teferi comes back in.
Displacer Kitten isn't Hullbreaker Horror. It doesn't bounce into your hand. It flickers it. So you can respond to the Displacer Kitten trigger, but the Teferi's in place. So you can only do channel effects or whatever. And then once the trigger resolves, you can't do anything in the middle of a trigger resolving, right?
So it's funny because you still are casting a spell, right? You still have to cast your Soul Ring over and over. You're still feeding everyone's Ristic Studies, but no matter what they draw, they can't do anything against you.
Yeah, unless they draw
our next card, which is
Colossal Sky Turtle?
Colossal Sky Turtle.
Okay. Nice segue. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, we'll rank Teferi in a little bit here. But Colossal Sky Turtle is really only a Kinning card, but it does 2 things.
I play it in Sisse.
You know shit. Do you really?
Do. Yeah. There's no reason not to because I'm in blue and green and I don't care about Nas. The channel effects are also so good in Sisse because I don't want to cast spells and stuff.
Yeah, I would say the other Rograk, Thrasios decks and stuff like that should probably think about Sky Turtle more than because I don't know that I see that in those lists as much.
Yeah, they don't. I would say the reason is that Rogthras doesn't care as much what its opponent's doing and wants to use counter spells to stay alive and wants all of its bounce spells to bounce its own shit. I would argue that I think Rogthras probably should play it.
I know Kinnan plays it because it can be a flip. Like worst case scenario, it's a flip, but it's also like really fine interaction that's uncounterable, uninteractable. And if you need to regrow Basalt Monolith, can you get Basalt Monolith back or can you only get creatures back, do you think?
I'm pretty sure it's any card. It's like a straight up regrowth. I'm pretty sure. I want to say it's permanent. Tyler has gotten counter spells back with this before, right?
You can, yeah. You return a card to your hand, but it only bounces a creature.
Right, yeah, that's what it is.
That's where it is.
Yeah. 3 mana for a regrowth is kind of a lot, but a channeled regrowth uncounterable is pretty nice.
Maybe more decks should be on this card.
I kind of think that they should be. I think the reason is like this is looked at as a bounce spell, and when Rogthras is looking at bounce spells, it wants to be able to bounce its own shit. Wait, can this bounce your own creature?
It can.
Maybe this should see play in Rogthras. Why doesn't it?
Maybe it should. Maybe because it is only creature, and like, are there other permanents you want to bounce or
not really? Like, what else?
This is a way better bounce spell than I thought that it was.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is, yeah. 2 mana for bounce a creature is more mana than we would like otherwise, right? You can just do unsummon for that.
Any effect that they print that they also want to print, like if they try to reprint an effect, but they want it to say this spell can't be countered, it will always cost an additional mana.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's all this is. It's an unsummon that costs an additional mana because it can't be countered.
Right. And it's also a regrowth with the same thing.
And it makes sense in Sisse because like your whole thing is activated abilities. I don't want to cast spells at any point.
Right.
Now you can still like get rid of an opposition agent before you go off and you still didn't have to cast a spell.
You can do things like search for the Teferi, and then once Teferi's here, now I can still channel something and get rid of it, and there's nothing that you can do or whatever.
You still have a removal spell option.
Right, whereas before you would have been able to deflecting swat my Colossal Sky Turtle, but now you can't because of the way that I search for Teferi first, or whatever it may be, right?
This card's way better than I thought that it was.
Really good.
Yeah, way better.
I think the reason it doesn't see play is it's expensive. It's more mana than you'd want it to be, but I think the uninteractability part of it is really nice.
Yeah, if you're being sloppy and looking to not cast spells, I think that's good. Like, I wouldn't want this in Crystal because I'm actively trying to cast spells.
Right, yeah. Doesn't bounce Ristic Study. That sucks.
That also kind of stinks, yeah.
Also, that's probably part of it. If you are a combo deck that cares about Ristic Study, you want your bounce spells to be able to theoretically hit a study once you're ready to go for a win, and this not being able to do that, that sucks, right?
Yeah, it makes sense that
doesn't care about Ristic Study.
Yeah, this isn't going to be played in turbo decks, right? Like, it's only going to be played in decks that, like, want to slow other decks down. Yeah. But, again, only being, like, able to hit creatures, I think also kind of limits what all this is still going to be able to be useful in.
Out of the cards that we talked about, we haven't rated Teferi or Colossal Sky Turtle. I want to say Teferi is better than Derevi, but I don't know that that's true.
I would think that it is only because the effect seems a little bit more universal in cEDH. Like, there's more decks that technically could would play Teferi because if you just want another silence effect, like here's one.
And I actually think Teferi is a pretty good blue farm card. I don't see it all the time in blue farm decks, but I do see it from time to time, and I think it's pretty good there. And blue farm is like one of the best decks in the format, so that is certainly something too. But like the issue with blue-white and the same issue with Derevi is like there's just not a lot of blue-white decks. Is that true? When I say that out loud, it doesn't feel
there's a lot of blue-white decks, but they play too many other colors with them. Yeah, it's like blue farm and like Thrasios Tymna,
right?
Yoshimaru Thrasios even. Like there's a lot of decks that play blue and white, but they all play blue and white together. They never play like just blue and white. Like Shorikai could spike a tournament if no one's anticipating there being a Shorikai player, but it's not a tier 1 strategy.
Plus now with King T'Challa, I really do feel like King T'Challa beat out Shorikai 100%, and it's now Heliod or King T'Challa if you want to play blue-white.
I would think so too.
Teferi is better than Derevi.
And then where does Sky Turtle go?
I like Deadpool more a little bit because Deadpool is more combo piece, and Sky Turtle's always cuttable. Like it's not necessary.
That's true.
You can always cut it. It's
all
just
these other cards we're talking about like pretty much aren't cuttable because they're like linchpins of a combo or a strategy.
I would say
that's not true. Eladamri's Call's cuttable.
That one sucks. Yeah, but like Deadpool specifically, Intimate Dargo and Sisay, Deadpool has become uncuttable in those two decks. It's like a core part of the deck. Whereas Colossal Sky Turtle, I could cut that from Sisay and it wouldn't be the end of the world.
And if
It'd
Deadpool
be fine.
only won the game, I feel like I could put it lower, but because it still has like tech against other things, it can basically act as like a Gilded Drake in like a color shifted area. Like that's kind of cool.
So Teferi, then Derevi, then Deadpool, then Colossal Sky Turtle, then Eladamri's Call?
Yeah.
I think that's true.
I was ready for Sky Turtle to go a little bit higher, but I think this makes sense.
It's not necessary. It's just interaction. That's all it is. You know, interaction's good, but that's not necessary.
It's not good interaction. It's not free interaction.
It doesn't change anything if it's gone. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Let's talk about another card called Manamorphose.
Oh my God. Oh, I wish I could play this card in Rock's so fucking bad.
I think it only sees play Natali right now.
Probably.
And Flubs. Flubs the Fool, I bet, plays this card tool.
Yeah. What other red-green decks even are there? Like, think about a red-green deck.
I cut it from Crystal even.
Oh, really? I feel like it'd be great in Crystal.
Actually, I felt like it would have too, but I feel like there were like before you get your Crystal combo going, it sucks. And that's where I would see it all the time.
Yeah,
like eventually you like spill into a bunch of other cards and then it could be good. But what I've been finding with Crystal is I can win without even being built around Storm. Yeah. You don't need to storm off with Storm cards.
Dude, the other day when you were like misdirecting your spell and then commandeering the spell and it didn't matter, like you were just using your sloppy free interaction to just like storm off with Crystal because you were drawn 6 cards every time.
Yeah,
so cool.
I already have a bunch of free spells. I can use to cast.
That's fair. But like, what other red-green deck is there? Nick Fury, I suppose. And I do play Manamorphose and Nick Fury, and I think it's good there.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess these 5-color big breach decks, like I guess Terra could be able to play it.
Yeah,
like,
but Terra, like, who plays Terra? I guess some people do play Terra. I don't play it in Sisay.
Not anymore because Nick Fury's here.
I know I don't play it in Sisay, although you could, I guess.
That would be a funny Sisay include.
Right, yeah, but I don't know
like,
that's really good there.
Too much green and red mana.
There's really not many other red-green decks, truthfully. Like Corvold, I guess, has picked up some popularity recently, but I don't know that Manamorphose is ideal there. It's probably fine.
And if I'm being honest, Manamorphose might get cut from Atali if it ends up being that we don't really care about the World War Hulk thing so much.
It's interesting because if the hybrid mana rule ever were to change, this card would skyrocket up and probably be arguably one of the best cards on this list simply because Ral and Rogsai would love to play this card. It is perfect for that deck, but there's just not a deck that's similar power level that would want to do that. You know, Nick Fury is the one, and we haven't really seen enough of Nick Fury yet.
The next one that would do that would be Vivi, but again, like we still have to have
and Vivi would love this card too. Yeah, exactly.
We still have to fix the rules of the Commander to do that. I said fix the rules of Commander. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. It's broken right now, and it needs to be fixed by letting the hybrid rule.
We've talked about this before. Where did we land on this before? Because I want to feel like I landed on don't change it. Did we land on change it?
I'm fine with not changing it, but like part of me would also be like, come on, let's add more cards to more decks. Let's have some more fun. Everybody.
On a personal level, I would love it. Yeah, right. On a fundamental, like the spirit of Commander. I guess, like, I don't like it for that reason.
The magic design, though, is more important than the spirit of Commander.
You're right. Yeah, I would say.
I guess as a whole, maybe not in Commander.
As it stands, I would say this card's probably worse than Eladamri's Call.
Oh, good. That's where I put it too.
Yeah, but if anything gets changed, top of the list right away.
Absolutely
top
true.
Of the list.
Yeah.
And if in 3 months' time, if Nick Fury proves to be an actual tier 1 deck and Manamorphose is good there, because Manamorphose specifically helping you cast Necropotence or Necrodominance and being good in the end step and turning your red mana into Born Upon the Wind mana because that's the card that you found and you didn't find Final Fortune.
Or like helping you activate the power up ability on Nick Fury.
Sure. For any of those reasons mentioned, Manamorphose could inch up the list. But right now, before we know too much about Nick Fury, I think it's bottom of the list.
Here's a new card for the bottom of the list. Jolly Balloon Man.
Oh, yeah. This is another Tim Nadargo card. There's a way to go infinite with it that I don't remember offhand. Don't make me say it.
Don't make me say it either, but I think it's also a Ruthless Technomancer thing.
Something with Ruthless Technomancer,
probably, yeah. It's a gross card that is like Kiki-Jiki-ish, but a little bit worse than Kiki-Jiki.
Yeah, and I know for a of fact, there are some combos with Village Bell Ringer and a Mana Dork. If you can spend 1 mana to make a copy of the Village Bell Ringer, and the Village Bell Ringer can untap 2 Mana Dorks, you can use one of the Mana Dorks to redo the Jolly Balloon Man, and the other Mana Dork to float a mana and go up on mana.
That's true. So you can make infinite mana and infinite 1/1 attackers that way too.
A 4-card combo I have just said for you.
Acquired. Yeah, but technically Mana Dorks you want in play anyway.
You want in play anyway.
So it's really like a 2-card combo.
But they have to be in play before. They can't have summoning sickness to do this.
Yeah, but that's when you wanted them in play anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
New best combo in cEDH.
I thought about this card in Sisay. It does kind of almost what Sisay wants to do. It's a legend and it untaps stuff. That's great for Sisay. I haven't tried it yet.
Like make a copy of something too? Like
it makes a copy of something.
Hasty copy of Bloom
It sure does. Yeah. 4 mana for that, like 3 mana for the thing, and then 1 mana extra. It has always just been a little bit too much. And if
think of it like 6 mana because you have to activate Sisay.
If you want to search for it. Yeah. In the past, Chainer has been like the option that does this similar thing for 4-ish mana.
Yeah.
Chainer doesn't really seem good enough. And now that, what's the card's name? Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi does this haste thing way better.
Way better.
Way better, right?
Wow, Jolly Balloon Man's the new worst card.
It sucks, yeah. In theory, this card's really great, though. And in the right weird fringe deck, I think Rocco plays it.
It does, yeah. It does this combo.
It does this
Village
combo.
Bell Ringer.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it does primarily.
Yeah, who's fucking playing Rocco?
Big Legs Banjo is. He's going to be so mad at us.
That's true, yeah. All right, yeah, this card is worse than Eladamri's Call.
I would like to put it worse than Manamorphose.
Personally, I would too, because I like Manamorphose more.
Personally, yeah. Even though Manamorphose is like really only seen play in one deck, it could see play in more decks if we change the hybrid mana rule.
And if Nick Fury is better than we think. Do we think
Balloon Man won't see play in additional decks.
I don't think so.
If we change the hybrid mana rule.
It's cool though. I love the idea that he's like a creepy balloon clown shit. I think like the idea of him is great.
The aesthetic is awesome.
He's awesome, yeah. But power level wise, a little bit less.
Here's another card that could probably go towards the bottom of the list.
Great.
Abandoned Attachments.
I know what this is, but why can't I pull it up right now?
You play it.
Abandoned Attachments. Oh, I'm going to be embarrassed once you tell me what this card actually. Give me a moment. What deck do I play it in?
I don't want to tell you.
I don't play it in Roxai. I don't know why I can't pull it up right now.
All right.
Start from a small amount. Let me try to guess. Ease me into it.
All right.
Tease me a little.
The first word of what the card does is you.
You, nothing yet.
And if you do it, then you get to do something else.
Abandoned Attachments. I play this card?
You play this card.
Oh, is this? Oh, this is the blue-red. Oh, okay. This is the, all right, this is a Ral card. This is
a Ral card.
Discard a card, draw 2 cards.
You may discard a card if you do draw 2 cards. Yeah, it's 1 and a blue-red hybrid.
Wait, is that what it does?
Yep, you may discard a card if you do draw 2 cards. It's an instant lesson. I feel like they've been doing this if you do thing on these kind of effects a little bit more because Visions of Love, which we also got really recently, is also an if you do. Yeah. This is the only card in your hand. It's still castable for a RAL trigger.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. This card's great in RAL specifically and in only RAL. It's great in RAL because it is an instant and you go down 1 card and you go up 2 cards, and with RAL it costs only 1 mana and it's red or blue mana. Those are all the relevant parts about this card.
Would you argue that you go down 2 cards to go up 2?
You do go down 2 cards technically. Yeah, you do go down this card and the card that you discard to draw 2 cards.
But all RAL needs to do is filter through cards anyway. So you do not care that you are at card parity the whole time. You just need to see more shit.
Yeah, you just need to cast more stuff and be able to hopefully find rituals and go from there. And the fact that this is instant, so you can respond to your RAL triggers, and your 3rd, your 4th, your 5th, your 6th spell are all on the stack. And now all of a sudden you have 4 RAL triggers and you can flip 4 times and figure out rather than just flipping on the last one. So
how cool is that?
It only sees play in RAL. It doesn't see play anywhere else and it never will.
Why would you? Unless there's a better RAL that we print. And then that will be the only deck this sees play in.
Yeah, if Team RAL ever gets printed, this would see play in that deck too. But until then, this only will see play in the 1 deck. And it's because of the reduction part of it that's necessary. And RAL is just hungry for this effect. Go down 1 card, go up 2 cards, or just like 2 mana, see 2 cards.
So it's also insanely replaceable because of like almost every set we get one of these.
We get one of these almost every set. Yeah, exactly. So this one is worse than Eladamri's Call, better than Balloon Man because I like RAL more than Tim Nadargo right now.
Worse than Manamorphose?
Yeah, because I can't play Manamorphose and RAL.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to go back into good cards for the rest of the day.
Oh, wonderful.
Our next card is Biomancer's Familiar.
You good?
Let's say 41.
41.
Oh, shit.
Let's run through them.
Longer than I thought, better than I thought, which is not something my wife tells me every day.
Biomancer's Familiar only sees playing Thrasios decks.
Thanks for giving me that one, by the way. You pointed at me and gave me a face and let me have that one.
Creature activated abilities cost 2 generic, less to cast, or less to activate, except they can't be reduced less than 1.
And it also says some kind of bullshit.
It also says something else that has
set mechanic.
Has never come up ever. Specifically, only good in Thrasios, and it's great in every single Thrasios deck ever because it allows you to activate Thrasios for 2 mana rather than 4 mana, and it's like pseudo free because like it's 2 mana, and then that's 2 of the 4 mana that you would have spent on the Thrasios activation anyway.
This is just like a linchpin of the Thrasios strategy where the whole thing that you want to do is make as much mana as possible and put it into Thrasios. Wouldn't it be great if he was 50% off all the time?
Right, and especially comboing with Training Ground, so now your Thrasios activations are 1 mana. This is a green creature, so it's easy to tutor for and get into play.
So there's like 5 copies of it in your deck.
But it only goes in the Thrasios decks. In Rog Thras, in Yoshi Thras, in, I guess it would even go in Tymna Thras. I don't know what that deck is doing anymore. But yeah, it goes in there too, probably.
There might be some other niche homes for it down the line too.
I guess,
Would Kinnan ever want something like this?
I think Kinnan did play at one point. I don't think they played it anymore because activating Kinnan's like not really what you're trying to do.
And even if you were, the difference between 5 and 7 is so negligible in Kinnan specifically.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that it doesn't just reduce the activation of Thrasios. It's just particularly good in Thrasios decks, especially because of other things like Abora Breezecaller that has 2 mana, but with this out, that activation is 1 mana. So you can go through your Abora Breezecaller, Gaia's Cradle, Talongates line for cheaper, which is really nice. There's also other creatures with activated abilities that can often see play in Thrasios decks. I have played Is It Guildmage before in Rograk Thrasios. I don't know that that's good, but this reduces the activation of one of those effects because
that goes infinite with
Dramatic Reversal.
Yeah.
You specifically have to have like Enduring Vitality or like a way to have your creatures all tap for mana and stuff like that.
So it's like a 3-card combo.
It's like a 3-card combo. But it's like you always want one of the Enduring Vitality effects out anyway.
I feel like cEDH has been loving these 3-card combos, but we already want one of these effects out in play anyway.
Yeah, if you always want the one thing in play, it's really like more like a 2-card combo.
Well, if I already have these 5 things in play.
I think the idea is that on their own, Is It Guildmage can do some really weird things with other tutors and getting to copy your own crop rotation and shit like that.
At a really bad rate.
At a really bad rate. Like you're already making so much mana, so the rate isn't as relevant. And like Dramatic Reversal, like because you want the Enduring Vitality, Dramatic Reversal can also just be a ritual. And
we're justifying so much shit to play bad cards.
Also, Sam Black is a wizard and can play whatever the hell he want. And like,
does that mean that I can?
I mean, I should be doing this, but Sam Black is doing it.
Remember in the King T'Challa deck that I built that I tried to do that tech that he did with
and you're like, wait a minute, there's no way to fucking discard the Titan.
Yeah, he was discarding it to activated abilities with red cards. No wonder why it worked.
Yeah. How good is this card?
It's better than Eladamri's Call, I would think, because it's seen play in tier 1 strategies.
There we go. Yeah,
Is it better than Sky Turtle, though? Which is also seen play in tier 1 strategies. A lot of the same tier 1 strategies, arguably more tier 1 strategies, too.
I think it's better than Sky Turtle.
But it's less replaceable. Like, those tier 1 strategies need this card. Yeah. You could go home without Sky Turtle.
It's better than Sky Turtle.
And then Deadpool. What about Deadpool?
Probably better than Deadpool. I don't know. Now we're getting to like, is Thrasios or Sisay better terrain? And I think that would like answer the question. What's better, Thrasios or Tymna? I want to say personally Sisay. Statistics might say that Thrasios is better.
Well, I think a lot of that too is that there's just more Thrasios decks.
There's more Thrasios.
5 Thrasios decks you could play.
Thrasios being a partner, like having partner, makes Biomancer's Familiar better.
If we're talking about like how many decks are playing it. If we're talking about like overall power level, I feel like Deadpool is just like way better because not only can it win the game on its own, but like it's also interaction. Like Biomancer's Familiar is going to do the same thing every time it comes into play.
Biomancer's Familiar never wins you the game. It always just helps you grind quicker.
It helps facilitate the win.
It gets you to the win. You know what I mean?
It's like your ad nauseum. Here's a 2-minute ad nauseum, basically.
Biomancer's Familiar is the beginning of the win. Deadpool is the end of the win. What's better? I think a beginning of the win is a better card than an end of the win, right?
Because of how much like value it can get you throughout the whole game.
Because you can choose to not be at the win. You can be like, I'm not winning the game. I'm just drawing 10 cards. Like the Deadpool, it's like, no, that is the win. You have to do something.
And if you are using Deadpool earlier, there's a chance that you won't be able to use it to win the game either. Like a big downside with a lot of these other like cards that require you to have a 2-card combo in your deck that combo with something else, but we always it doesn't matter. It's not a 3rd card because we always have it. Like I feel like some of those cards can have a clunkier use in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I think Biomancer's better than Deadpool.
All right, I'm down with that too. And then what about Derevi? Biomancer's Familiar might be better than Derevi. It goes in the same decks, but arguably more of those decks.
It's the same idea, whereas Derevi is good in the beginning of the combo and also good at the end of the combo. Whereas Biomancer's Familiar, it doesn't do anything at the end of the combo. And it's only good at the beginning, but it helps
once you have infinite mana, who cares that you have the reduction?
But it helps you grind better. I would also say that Derevi is a fucking lightning rod. If Derevi touches play, specifically in the like Sisay, everyone needs to kill Derevi immediately.
Nobody cares about Biomancer's Familiar for some reason when it actually secretly wins Thrasios X the game all the time.
Realistically, they're forced to not care about it because it doesn't do anything right now, and somebody else is winning right now. By the metrics of the game, they are kind of forced to. Whereas if Derevi does hit play, it almost always is winning the game, like right on the spot. You know what I mean?
So is Biomancer's Familiar better than Derevi? Because that's the same thing we said about Deadpool.
It's the same thing, yeah. The issue is that Derevi is good at the beginning of the combo, where Deadpool is not good at the beginning of the combo.
It's really only good at the end of the combo.
But it's better interacting.
Deadpool's better at interacting.
Biomancer's better. It's 2 mana, but 2 mana is less than 3.
But Teferi is better than Biomancer's Familiar. And honestly, Biomancer's Familiar might be seeing play in more decks than Teferi. I think it is.
Biomancer is like very important for those Thrasios decks.
It is a linchpin of that strategy.
Teferi is often weirdly cuttable. It's like the worst silence effect, and it's part of a 3-card combo, which is not good in a lot of decks.
I hate that Biomancer's Familiar is the best card that we talked about today, but I feel like it is.
I think it is. Yeah.
Well, we have to fix that. Let's talk about Neoform now.
I don't think we're gonna fix it. Neoform, I feel like, is a lot worse recently.
Kind of going down, where Neoform used to be, oh, this was so good at letting me sacrifice my commander into a big creature that I really want to be able to find. I don't want to invest 1 billion mana into my commander to go find Consecrated Sphinx, especially because everyone knows you're going to find Consecrated Sphinx. Your commander was Kennerith.
Yeah, I think Neoform was better when Thrasios Tymna was top dog and when Llanowar Elves was a playable card in 4-color decks, because then you could easily turn your 1-mana Matadors, which you played many of because there was no Bowmaster to punish you for doing so, and then you could easily turn them into a Thassa's Oracle and win with Demonic Consultation, and you had like 2 Thassa's Oracles in your deck, and you could also then, it could be a Seedborn Muse later on or something like that.
Or your Grand Abolisher,
or your Grand Abolisher.
Even at the time, like Dockside Extortionist was around too. Like there was 2 was such an integral part of cEDH for creatures that like it was kind of the perfect thing to sacrifice a mana dork into.
Nowadays, most decks are playing at max, I want to say 3 mana dorks, right? Like Birds of Paradise, Delighted Halfling, Deathrite Shaman, maybe 1 or 2 others, I think Noble Hierarch or something like that.
And even like Deathrite Shaman has been down in play in a lot of decks, I feel like.
And then like the other one drops, like I guess sometimes you want to get rid of Esper Sentinel because you want to win the game or whatever. But realistically, for the most part, I don't really want to get rid of
Esper Sentinel.
Unless you're specifically going for a Thassa's Oracle in particular. That's kind of perfect.
I feel like a lot of the creatures that we have nowadays are things that like come into play, and I really need this effect to stick around. Like, I'm not interested in sacrificing Badger Mole Cub ever. I'm not willing to sacrifice the Cabbage Merchant ever because I need them around for their value to make sense, and that's why I'm playing these creatures.
I didn't put Neoform in Nick Fury, but if I played Nick Fury again, I might. Having a 1-drop in the command zone now means that you can go find your Voice of Victory, Grand Abolisher, Thassa's Oracle off of your commander.
That could be really good too.
That might be a little bit of something.
That seems like something.
That might be a little bit of something. But yeah, outside of that, I think it's better than a lot of cards. Better than Deadpool, I think, is the range. It's maybe like a little bit better or a little bit worse than Deadpool. What do you think?
I could see it being better than Deadpool.
Better than Deadpool a little bit.
Worse than Derevi?
I think so. I think we found the middle point between these 2 cards.
I feel like we kind of did too.
Which is weird because Neoform on paper is very, very powerful, but it's limiting. You know what I mean? Like it only finds specifically 1 up, and like all of your creatures are so good, you don't really want to get rid of any of them because the creatures that we're playing nowadays are mana engines and draw engines and shit like that. A deck like Rogthras, which has extra creatures that are, like, I don't want to go down on creatures to get another creature often. I want to just get another creature.
Like if I was playing Imperial Recruiter in more decks again, I would be way more into something like this. But that is not a card. Like things that just enter and have nothing else, like Eternal Witness, like that. Eternal Witness is probably like the only one that still sees play like that.
Like what?
Like that has an ETB and then does nothing else.
Oh yeah, like the Imperial Recruiters, like you said, don't see any play, and all the other ones, the ETB, they're still stagnant.
Spellseeker sees way less play, and even then, here's cards that will only go get me 4 drops. Is all that I've mentioned. Yeah.
I think Neoform is a little bit underrated and probably should see play in more decks, but I just don't see it very often, and I think there's like a fine enough reason to not play it. So yeah, but in between Deadpool and Derevi sounds right.
Also, like as additional cost, sacrifice a creature, and then you get spell pierced, and then you get super done for. Then, so our next card is Mayhem Devil.
Oh, this card's way underrated.
Yeah, this is a card seeing play in Blue Farm.
Yeah, we had a game recently. I think the game has come out by the time now, so we can talk about it. Or maybe
this episode's coming out at the end of July.
Yeah, I think the episode where we had a deal and I went back on the deal has already come out. I still feel so bad about that. I was looking back at the video and like we had gone back and forth on the deal so many times. Like
the deal was really hard.
The deal was off. The deal was on. The deal was off. And I just completely forgot that we made a deal at the end of it. And you were at 2, and Brandon's like, "You want to ping him? I have 2 things." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I just completely forgot.
This kind of shit happens. Yeah. So if you want, you can pretend like I won that game or something like that.
I think you should have won that game for sure. Yeah. Well, realistically, we probably talked about this in the episode that we haven't filmed the narration for yet. I shouldn't have made the deal. I should have just been okay with dying. I should have just said, all right, if you don't want to sack your stuff so that we can kill the other player, I'm not making a deal with you. We can just die to Rodney right now, and that'll just be what it is. Yeah. I should have been okay with that, or I should have had a clarification on the deal that said you have hexproof from Mayhem Devil until you put a win on the stack, and then I don't want to die, so I'll have to do something then.
I feel like that's a caveat that I've been putting at like the end of all my deals. Like, well, if you change something, like then I'm
if you put a win on the stack, I have to fend for myself. But until
I'm not
then,
going to let you just win the game at the same time.
But I didn't say that.
No, but if we need to get over this hump temporarily, we can talk about something.
Yeah, but either way, Mayhem Devil is super powerful, specifically against Smothering Tithe. If you're making 1,000 treasures, there's not much that anyone can do to get rid of those treasures, but Mayhem Devil makes it much more difficult for the person to use those treasures, and it's really fucking good there.
Exactly. So especially like if other decks are also playing like Tarus and other things that are making them treasures, or even just like have lines that require them to sacrifice a couple creatures. Like here's just a Diabolic Intent here and there, right?
Lion's Eye Diamond is a sacrifice. You have to do that. And if you ad nauseum down to 3, all of a sudden you can't go for that breach line until you get rid of the Mayhem Devil, right?
Which is such a funny spot to be.
I know. And little weird things like Mystic Remora, if you don't pay the upkeep cost, that's sacrifices. That's another fucking Mayhem Devil trigger. There's like a ton of little things. Every fetch land, every this, every that, every Lotus Petal. There's like a ton of things. And it's a great tool if you are politically savvy and you know how to communicate with your opponents. We can talk to the whole table, and this Mayhem Devil can have a gun at everyone's head at all times because it does so much, and you don't have to be the one doing it. Your opponent sacrifices a thing. If you sack that thing, I'll shoot the Mayhem Devil over here. It's free real estate for both of us. Why wouldn't you do it?
But you can also like play off their resources at that point then too, and like kind of put 2 opponents in a worse spot where you just get to sit there pretty with your Mayhem Devil in play.
Right, and you can put your opponents in weird situations like, hey, I need you to sacrifice your treasures before you get to your turn. I'll take those Mayhem Devil triggers and I'll send them at the opponents. But if you don't do that, I'm going to silence you in your upkeep or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weirdo deals you can make with Mayhem Devil. The issue is 3 mana is obviously a lot. And like, what deck are you wanting to play this card in, right? Like, I personally think it's a really good blue farm include. And if you're in any sort of sloppy red-black deck, I think it's great in like Kefka or anything like that, right?
And I'll tell you this, a lot of decks are now playing Stormkiln Artist in deck.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have more of a reason to start wanting Mayhem Devil in decks too, where if you're in any kind of a Mardu shell, this feels so great. Dargo decks, just you're sacrificing as you go through Dargo loops, so it's so easy to ping things.
It's like an actual combo piece then in some of the Dargo decks, right?
Yeah.
And especially in like those Mardu shells, Wizards has kind of shown us that like the treasure thing is a Mardu thing, is a red thing, is a white thing, is a black thing. So like it fits perfectly with all your Ragavans and like you said, Stormkiln Artist and Professional Facebreaker. Those are really great too with Mayhem Devil. The issue is like it's just kind of a do nothing if it's not doing something, which is like kind of silly. But like some games it'll just be a 3 mana nothing and like, oh, no one has Smothering Tithe right now. You know, the 2 fetch lands are going to deal 2 damage, someone else's wins, and then it doesn't do anything.
I can't believe I'm going to call it old school Magic design. From, like, I can't believe that
6 years ago or something.
Yeah, but like War of the Spark was still at this point 11 years ago or something, like 2015.
It can't be true. War of the Spark was like
not true.
It was like 2018,
that's
2019.
Not true.
I think.
Yeah, no, that sounds way more
2019
correct.
maybe.
That sounds way more correct.
Yeah, I think it was around there, but still like 7 years or something, right?
Which is still super long, but it was before we got creatures that had an effect that happens and a way to trigger its own effect. This is only the effect on the creature that needs other synergy pieces. We've talked about it being a combo piece. We've talked about it being a political tool. It is straight up removal. I feel like this is probably one of the better cards.
I'm still thinking as Deadpool is kind of the middle of the list. Is that even true?
That's about true, yeah.
I think it's worse than Deadpool.
You think it's worse than Deadpool?
I don't know, right? No?
It's going in a lot of the same decks.
And more.
It
doesn't go in Sisay.
But it goes in Blue Farm where Deadpool didn't go in Blue Farm.
Right, it could go in Blue Farm.
There's too many ways to build a Blue Farm, I think is part of it. But some of the treasure lists have been a little bit better. I think if you're like all in on the treasure list, this is a good one for that.
I think it's a great meta pick also. I played a game with Diada recently, which felt really good, and it's incredible in Diada. It's actually insane there. So I think if you're trying to attack the meta in an interesting way, this does a really good job of that because it hits the treasure stuff super well.
You could also like give your opponents treasures and like an offer you can't refuse your opponent. Like you can kind of like entice people to trigger it a little bit more.
Yeah. Do you think it's better than Deadpool or no?
I think it's better than Neoform and Derevi, which we have above Deadpool. But that's the only reason why I would think deck then.
I'm okay with that, I guess. I don't know that I agree, but I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it lower too.
It's not better than Derevi.
You don't think it's better than Derevi?
Like Mayhem Devil, it feels a lot of times kind of out of your control. It relies on the table a lot. Does that matter though? Sometimes you have a bunch of treasures and it's incredible.
It could go both ways, I think. Like Derevi is only under your control.
Yeah.
But you can control Mayhem Devil.
You can play Smothering Tide and make 10 treasures and then play Mayhem Devil, wipe the board, right?
Yeah, you can also like make your opponents do things with it too.
Maybe it's better than Derevi.
I was thinking that Mayhem Devil had more play throughout the game, but like Derevi kind of does too. You could throw down an early Derevi, get in.
A ton of mana.
But we were talking about Derevi being a lightning rod. I think Mayhem Devil's a little bit less of a lightning rod because if you can use it politically, people are going to be less inclined to get rid of it if it doesn't win you the game outright. But if it can hurt their opponents, I'm more inclined to leave it around.
Mayhem Devil is like a lightning rod for one player at a time, and other players might actually be willing to protect your Mayhem Devil for a deal. If you're in Mardu colors and someone's trying to Hullbreaker Horror your Mayhem Devil because they want to go through a treasure loop, you can say, hey, other blue decks, can you protect my Mayhem Devil? I'll give you a hexproof from the Mayhem Devil. And you remember your deals, remember your deals. But you can do that. And like, no one's ever going to protect your Derevi ever, whereas they might want to protect your Mayhem Devil.
Yeah, because Derevi only gets you ahead, whereas Mayhem Devil has the opportunity to get every other opponent that you care about dead.
Okay, so yeah, better than Derevi. Neoform was worse than Derevi, though, right?
We have Neoform worse than Derevi.
Yeah, so Mayhem's better than Derevi.
Teferi. What do you think about probably worse than
Teferi, but around the same, I would say. Around the same. Like a niche option, a meta pick, good in certain decks. Yeah, I think around the same, but I would say worse because blue's better. Both wore the Spark cards.
Wow. Huh.
I like the sound of that.
Both wore the Spark cards.
What's next?
I think a new top one. Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff.
Oh, easily right to the top. What's the top of our list right now?
Biomancer's Familiar.
Easily right to the top.
Lotho embarrasses Biomancer's Familiar.
Every single black-white deck, period, plays it. No restraints necessary, right?
No restraints, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
This is Smothering Tide. We got a 2-mana Smothering Tide. That's crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt, every single black-white deck that can, if you're playing black and white, you play this and there's no reason not to.
We've cleverly danced around all of the other cards that work well with like Mayhem Devil and like all this other stuff. We didn't mention Lotho, but like Lotho is like fits perfectly with like all these other the Thrasio strategies we've been talking about. The Blue Farm, it's perfect in.
It's a legend for Sisay. Why not?
It's a legend for Sisay. It goes in Tim the Dargo because you make treasures. Like
it's only 2 mana. It has synergies with specific things like sacrifice effects or whatever, and it has synergies with playing Magic, making treasures for no additional extra value. Like at worst, it is oftentimes an arcane signet because normally you can trigger it yourself, and it's made 1 additional mana for 2 mana, and then sometimes it makes 6 to 10 mana over the course of the game, and for 2 mana, that's like an unheard of rate, right?
Yes, it stinks that it gets pinged off by Bowmaster. Yeah. Yes, if your best friend plays Obnixilis Captive Kingpin, you're going to be a little bit sad.
I've had situations where I'm at a low life total because of a Necro or something like that, and my Lotho is no good anymore. I got to get rid of this. This Lotho is instantly top of the list, best multicolor card, probably of all the ones. I don't know. There might be another one.
I think it would be close between 2 of the other 3 cards that we have to play.
Yeah,
like Mnemonic Betrayal.
Oh, I hate this.
You
card.
hate this card,
it's
so good.
It's so good.
This is going to be a weird one where, like, if we look at it in quadrant theory, it is only good at the end of the game.
Yep.
It is never going to protect you early unless it's the blue card you're pitching to Force of Will, or like you put it under Chrome Mox, and it's like the only thing in your deck that makes you 2 colors under your Chrome Mox. But it's terrible in every other quadrant. It's not good when you're behind. It's not good at parity. It is only good when you're ahead, which is not really where I want all my cards to be.
I don't know that it's only good when you're ahead, but it's only good when you have a window to win the game. Sometimes you are behind, you have no other things, you know what I mean? Everyone else has stuff, but for some reason, they've all tapped out at a perfect time and you can resolve the Mnemonic Betrayal.
Then you're ahead. I would argue that's when you're ahead. Yeah, now you're ahead. Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
Until then, you were definitely behind.
Yeah, and it's specifically like it's good in the consultation pile decks because you are getting rid of all your win cons oftentimes. So having that one card that I don't need anything else in my deck, your guys' decks is going to be good for me. It's like a Yawgmoth's Will, and Yawgmoth's Will is one of the most broken cards of all time, right? The mana fixing part of it, my Soul Ring can cast the Demonic Tutor because any color is okay. Like there's so many strong parts about this card, but every time I see it in my opening hand in Rogside,
it's
the fucking worst. Yeah, it's so bad.
And you have to rely on your opponent's decks too, like we were saying. So if you're against Magda and Lumra and Blue Farm, you're like, well, only one of you is going to be really helpful for me.
Yeah, but I would also argue if I'm playing Rogside and that's my pot, I'm feeling pretty good about that because 2 of the decks are basically buys. Specifically Lumra, I view as a straight up buy when I'm playing Rogside.
But Magda had a turn 1 Vexing Bobble into Dampening Sphere for you.
Yeah, they can have something. Sometimes they have something. Sometimes they have a timely
Lumra
red blast.
never has anything.
Yeah, Lumra
Zern Orb gang all the fucking life
I joke about this all the time. Every time Lumra has endurance, they die with it in their hand or they try to put it on the stack, and I win with it on the stack over top. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, Pneumonic Betrayal is definitely worse than Lotho. It's seen play a lot of tier 1 decks. It's in Rogsai. It's in a lot of blue farm lists.
What's the second card?
Biomancer's Familiar.
It's better than that.
It's better than that.
I think so.
I would have taken an argument for it to be worse than Biomancer's Familiar.
Biomancer's good at the beginning. Pneumonic Betrayal is good at the end. And we normally argue that I'd rather something good at the beginning than the end.
And like throughout the game and give me value throughout the game.
Might be better. I don't know. It might be closer than I initially thought. Gut reaction. I personally would rate it lower. I hate Pneumonic Betrayal. It's a necessary evil. Biomancer's Familiar. I love seeing that card when I'm playing those decks.
Where's the ceiling on Biomancer's Familiar versus Meme Bet? Because the ceiling on Meme Bet is insanely high, but the floor is like so low.
Right. The floor on Biomancer's Familiar is pretty low. It's a 2/2, but in the decks that want that, the floor is not so bad. It's a creature. It's a body. It feeds Gaia's Cradle. It like works with your combos and your advantage engines. Biomancer's Familiar is better because of Joy.
It's better than Teferi though.
Easy better than Teferi. Yeah. Easy better than Teferi.
Here's a card that will go in the middle of the list somewhere. Yeah. Wargate.
Yeah. Only good in banned decks.
Because it's really all you can play it in.
All you can play it in. I don't normally love this card, but it's nice that it can find Gaia's Cradle and it can find creatures and it can find anything. All the permanents.
I don't normally love this either, but I mean, if we love Finale of Devastation and all these other things, like, wouldn't it be cool to get Aristic Study for 6 mana or something like that?
A Curiosity.
Casting for Bant though up front is bad.
And the fact that in like Crystal you can like get Underworld Breach with it is kind of nice.
That is kind of funny. I do like that. Yeah. It's also like I'm not on like the transmute thing, Dizzy Spell, because it is Dizzy Spell.
It's Dizzy Spell, yeah. It's 4 mana Mystical Aurora. That's still fine.
But it does way more than just
cast, though. Yeah, a
little harder to cast.
I think this one's tricky.
Although blue colorless is also not easy to set up.
I completely agree.
I completely agree. Deck.
Although in like Kinnan specifically, blue is a little bit easier to cast because Kinnan doubles the blue that something's making.
That's true.
Right?
Well, it's because you can't play Wargate.
Because you can't play Wargate in Kinnan. I think that this is worse than Deadpool.
I think it's worse than Deadpool.
It's so specific.
It's a little too specific. Yeah. I think it's worse than Sky Turtle. I'm way higher on Sky Turtle today. All of a sudden,
I think it's worse than Sky Turtle.
But better than Eladamri's Call.
I would say the flexibility is more and the unknown part of it is more, even though that it's a little bit more mana.
If Eladamri's Call could get Underworld Breach, now I'm listening.
But it can't. But it can't. I think the fact that this can get Gaia's Cradle and creatures is like the biggest pull. And then in like specific decks, it can also get like Crystal and Bolas's Citadel for 9 mana.
I was thinking Grinding Station, but I think by the time that this episode comes out, Grinding Station's getting cut from Crystal.
Getting back out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I was realizing like, oh shoot, if I have to Grinding Station for something, I don't know how I can win that game. I think I have to get rid of too many resources. I'd rather Wargate for Spellseeker and go get Brain Freeze that way.
You don't have a Thassa's Oracle or a Praetor's Grasp to win once you've just milled your library.
No, I don't.
Like
I could play Thoracle and like I could play Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal so that every time I go through the loop, it just pings with Crystal.
How do you win with Crystal? Just Brain Freeze Pass?
Brain Freeze Pass, or if I realize that I can't just Brain Freeze Pass, what I've been doing is getting Delney into play and then just manually storming some other shit from my graveyard with Underworld Breach, and then just each time I cast Rite of Flame now, it's 2 Crystal triggers for 1.
To deal
so now I only have to cast like 20 spells at max in order to win the game.
That's
probably way less.
The deck needs a little bit, something a little extra to close
I've been thinking about that too. Honestly, I've been thinking about Hullbreaker Horror for that reason.
Yeah, bounce all your stuff.
And then that way, when I like recast other spells and stuff like that, it'll still trigger Crystal.
Right. But Wargate still feels good in Crystal, right?
I still like Wargate.
Just you can find curiosity effects and shit like that. Yeah. Okay.
And we have one last card to talk about.
The last one.
Yeah. What do you think it is?
What colors is it?
You've talked about it already today.
I've already talked about it, dude. My recall, not so great. I don't know. What is it?
Wow. It must not be ancestral, I guess.
It certainly isn't.
It's Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy.
Oh, yeah. Kinnan in the 99.
In the 99. Yeah.
Kinnan in the 99 is fine. In some decks, it's good. I feel like it's a cuttable card in Rogthras, but I do see it in some lists.
I've seen a lot of Rogthras lists. Yeah. I'm on it in Crystal. I'm a little unsure of it in Crystal still, but I feel like I'm trying out Badgermole Cub, so I might as well try out Kinnan too.
The doubling your mana for 2 mana is just such an incredible rate. We don't have to talk about why Kinnan is
Why do we have to talk any more about Kinnan? I feel like we've spent years talking about Kinnan and seeing it on the channel.
Thrasios, it's a 2-card combo with Basalt Monolith. You can make infinite colors and then draw your deck.
In Kinnan, it's a 1-card combo.
There you go. Better than Deadpool.
You could argue it's the best multicolor card that we talked about today.
No, because we're talking about the cards
as a commander.
As a commander, yeah. But we're talking about them in the 99.
Because we didn't talk about Lotho as a commander at all, and Lotho sucks as a commander.
Lotho sucks as a commander, but incredible in the 99. I don't know if Shay says sucks in the commander. It's like fine. You know what I mean? I think there's probably better stuff to be doing. It kind of sucks.
You have to be a good player, and that's harder to be than have a good deck.
Is it better than Derevi? Probably.
Probably
better than Derevi.
Probably
what
better
else?
than Derevi. Probably worse than Teferi, though. Better than Teferi?
Probably better than Teferi. And worse than Pneumonic Betrayal.
Worse than Pneumonic Betrayal.
Yeah, that feels right.
I'm really happy with that. Yeah. So we have a top 10.
We don't need to talk about Sisei cards. We don't need to mention how Ruby is only good in Sisei.
Oh, okay. I told you I was going to forget.
Tyvar is great in Sisei. Sisei, and in some very specific Tyvar is also really good there.
Probably wouldn't make the top 10 though.
I don't think it's going to make the top 10. There's probably other good Sisei cards.
Lavinia, Azorius Renegade
is fine and good in some decks. It acts as a weirdo silence-ish effect.
But it's also a stacks piece.
Yeah, and it's good against the Talus, so don't play it in your deck.
Don't touch it. Yeah.
There's probably some other Sisei cards that are fine, but they're only good in Sisei, so we don't need to talk about them. Do we want to talk about like Deathrite Shaman, Ignoble Hierarch, and Noble Hierarch?
Let's talk about the mana dorks real quick.
Ignoble and Noble Hierarch tap for 3 one-at-a-time colors, but they have 1 toughness, so they're weak to Bowmaster.
Whereas Deathrite Shaman is not weak to Bowmaster, but requires lands in the graveyard for him to be a
active mana dork.
Mana dork.
Deathrite is also 2 toughness, which is huge, and the ability to sometimes interact with your opponent's graveyard might come up. Not really. It doesn't really come up.
Yeah, they'll play around it a lot.
What's the issue with the Noble and Ignoble Hierarchs? They do go in Sisei, and then they only really go in decks that can play all 3 colors, but we have had other 3-color cards on this list. What are some other things that are near the bottom of the list right now?
Jolly Balloon Man.
This is better than those.
Let's skip a few. The
Hierarchs and Deathrite, I think, are all better than Jolly Balloon Man.
And Eladamri's Call.
Better, right?
And Wargate.
Better.
And Sky Turtle.
I would say in order, Ignoble Hierarch, Deathrite Shaman, Noble Hierarch, because of mana pips. Deathrite might be better, actually. I find Deathrite to be kind of inconsistent, which is unacceptable as a mana dork.
That's funny. I was going to say Deathrite is the worst mana dork out of all the ones that we talked about. Yeah, that's great. But if it doesn't tap for mana, then Bowmaster's never going to target it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. If it can't tap for mana, it's like the worst thing ever. A 1 mana, 2, 1, 2. Normally can.
But a lot of times, like...
Noble Hierarch always can.
Noble Hierarch always can, right? Like, there's a surprisingly large amount of scenarios where a player runs out Deathrite on turn 1. Yeah. And then when they get to their turn 2, they go, oh shit, I was really...
Command Tower, Mana Confluence, Ancient Tomb were the lands that were played. And
I was really hoping that someone had a fetch land because I didn't. I just had Bayou. They're worse than Deadpool, I want to say. Mana dorks in general are just not very good
because of the current metagame, I would say, yeah, I think that's fine. They're worse than Deadpool. Deathrite's the worst out of the Hierarchs.
Not all of them are going to make the top 10, though, is the thing.
Noble Hierarch is the best, the blue one. The
Noble
one that's
Hierarch
blue
is the best, yeah. And it's better than Sky Turtle?
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Jennifer Walters isn't on the list because she's too new.
The issue I've also realized with Jennifer Walters is Voice of Victory, they're basically the same.
They're the same, but better.
But Voice of Victory is almost always just strictly better.
I was thinking about that because right now Jennifer Walters is in Crystal, but I think that was because I built the deck for the Marvel.
Do you want Voice of Victory, Jennifer Walters, and Grand Abolisher?
No, I'm not even on Grand Abolisher in Crystal.
Jennifer Walters, although seems very good, might be good in like specific decks, like green-white decks.
Something that's too specific. Yeah, like if you can't play Hexene Squelcher, she might not end up seeing a lot of play.
Which is weird, right?
That is weird, yeah. But like Cutzel has been Cutzeled from a lot of decks.
I think the bigger issue is the Voice of Victory. Is like how many of that effect do you really want? You're already playing Silence and Orm's Chant and maybe Grand Abolisher and Voice of Victory.
There's upside on Voice of Victory, whereas like the Jennifer Walters sensational She-Hulk upside.
That's not really upside.
Not really upside. It's like never going to come up.
I want to say that the mana dorks are better than Jennifer Walters, which I think will push it at a top 10.
Stuff might change, right? Jennifer Walters is still so new.
Right. It's still a very good card.
The effect is stronger than some of the other stuff that's on the list, but that doesn't mean that like it's not replaceable.
Yeah.
Then let's go over the top 10.
That's probably fine. Yeah. What's the top 10?
Well, we got Noble Hierarch as the number 10.
Interesting.
We got Deadpool as the number 9, which we thought would be in the middle of the list, which it ended. Number 8's Neoform.
Yep.
Number 7 is Derevi. Number 6 is Mayhem Devil. Number 5 is Teferi Time Raveler. Number 4 is Kinnan. Sounds weird, but that's true. Number 3 is Mnemonic Betrayal. Yep. Number 2 is Biomancer's Familiar, and the best multicolor card in the format is Lotho.
It is weird to say Biomancer's Familiar is the second best, like better than Kinnan.
That was weird.
I think it is. I cut Kinnan from Rock Thrust. It's not in all the Rock Thrust lists, but Biomancer's Familiar is.
It's because we're not focusing on the card as a commander.
Right, yeah.
And that's really
definitely why.
That's really it. Yeah, if we were considering how good it is as a commander, easily would have gone on the top of the list for sure.
And then Kinnan does play in Sisei, whereas Biomancer's Familiar doesn't, but I think it's still fine. I think overall there's more good Thrasios decks than Sisei.
Sisei is one deck versus let's name 4 more Thrasios decks. Yeah,
right? That's got to play into it a little bit. Yeah. I definitely believe that Lotho is the best multicolored card in the 99 of cEDH.
Honestly, that is the only thing that I am sure about on this list. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for watching. If you like to support us directly, you do so on Patreon, like $100 patrons.
Apex of War, Handedly, The Asian Sage, Tenception, Magdamad, Seabass, Not Kareth, Bob the Skull, Davishur, Abyss AA, Peggy, E4 cards and more, Red, Finks MTG, Wandering Around, Nethresmian, Mike H, Tom Bieber, Cumulative Upkeep MTG, Nathan Cohen, Mr. Jerby, Okie Toad, Penguin Man 0089, David Newman, Johnny Denver, Omelet, Rocky Hall, Will Tull, Spangler, Larceny Roars, Sparky B, S.E. Phillip, Only Groupie, Zach Hartley, Reactive, Sean on the Ice, The Works 472, Gerber Garrett, Mace the Ace, Luke Cook, Connor Sipon, Joshua Day, Demon of Rosgreaves, Peter Stewart, Uncle Butts, Doot Loot, Quad J, Hamid, Scott Hawk, and Baby G-Bus.
If you want to pick up any of our merch, you can do that at playtowinmtg.com.
Thanks, Dragon Shield, for supporting the show. Use code PlayToWin5 at the affiliate link down below for 5% off.
You can follow us on the internet for more content.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time. The $50 patrons?
Migs, FTW, Lumi E, Devin Morrow, Carpet Angel, Turtle 99, Rick, Sharticus, Max McComber, Benda, Ben Finelli, Sarcastic, Mystic Muffin Man, Zachary Coulson, Dalton Poteet, The Autumn Wildfling, Thomas Bueno, and David Nelson.
Here's the Deadpool. His first appearance of Deadpool. Here it is. It's only an 8 though. I thought it might get higher. It only got an
80% was good. I'm happy with a B, just like Deadpool.
That's it. That's the end.